love to hear more about just your journey and acceptance of using plant medicines, especially cannabis.
Cool.
And how that's helped you. Or with your acceptance of it and the role it plays in your life. Because of reading your book, I was very curious about that.
Yeah, for sure. And someone else recently asked me the same question the other day about like how to use cannabis. They were asking me like guidance on how to use it. And I would say cannabis, like any controversial topic, I don't think that the topic is actually the issue. It's the people using it versus being used by it. There's the idea of everything in moderation. Like I know there's certain ways I've seen people use cannabis that do not resonate with me, and I've even done that. Like at one point I was like experimenting with smoking cannabis earlier in the day for me, but for me, for instance, I'd find it much better to do it like when the sun sets. And making it more of a ritual around that time, because I've noticed when I start using it and I want to continue using it, and then if I don't give myself a break from it, like especially like a full day, like from 24 hours, it doesn't even seem to be as enjoyable. So it really brings me to like beer. It brings me to the same kind of energy around beer, coffee. So it's like really beer, coffee, cannabis, none of these are the issue. It's how people relate to them that are the issue. I mean, I just saw a study come out of University of California, Irvine, about how drinking and they definitely emphasize moderate amounts of coffee and beer could extend human life. And
I saw that too on your story.
And regardless if that's true or not, it's like the truth of the matter is these are beautiful being, whatever you want to call them, entities, beings, plants, creations that I believe have a lot. They're a blessing to humanity.
I absolutely agree.
But just in the same way that if I overeat food or fruits, I can have issues. Like fruits are probably the least dangerous, but if I overeat meat, if I overeat potatoes, if I overeat starch, if I overeat sugar, I'll have a real situation to deal with where when I eat the correct amount, like staying in tune with what my body is saying to me, then they're actually, I love them. And I used to be more racist against plants than I am now. I think I used to be kind of cultural conditioned into thinking that cannabis is evil, or it's the devil's, what is it called? Like the devil's plant. Devil's weed, all kinds of things. And my belief is that comes from people that never found a balance with it, and they started blaming the plant rather than taking a look in the mirror. And I bet the same people that demonize cannabis probably demonize other things such as beer or guns or whatever the issue is. I'm more of a believer that like you can give me a bottle of liquor right now and maybe I'll take a sip. If I do use that liquor, it's gonna be a blessing. It's not gonna be a curse to me because I'm not gonna fall into the rabbit hole of drinking the whole thing at once.
Right.
It's the same thing with garlic and onions. Like I love garlic and onions in moderation, but if I had a story that if everyone around me, if my preachers and teachers told me garlic is evil, and then I started treating it like an evil plant that I like don't use, but then when I use it way too much, and then I kind of feel guilty about it. Garlic's freaking powerful, and so is cannabis, and so is alcohol, and so is everything. But there are certain plants that seem that are more seductive for people to get out of balance with, and I think they also hold a unique power too. It's not because if I love garlic or onions or cannabis, I don't really need other people to love them. I still have my own experience with them. And realizing that to me is like the brilliance of being in peace as a human being. Yeah, we might all be same leaves to the same tree, but some leaves are more exposed to the sun, like naturally, and some are more embedded in the stem of the tree, where like those leaves probably would benefit from more sunlight, whereas the other leaves might not need as much sunlight. Whereas one human might benefit a lot more from garlic, where another person might not really need it. One person may benefit from their relationship with cannabis, while the other one doesn't. And I think when we get clear on that, there's a source that we all share but we all have our individual expressions of that source, and to honor our individual expressions rather than demonizing someone as practice, especially if they're using it in a healthy way. I understand if you or someone you know has like a problem with cannabis, it's probably indicative of a problem they're having overall, and the cannabis is just making it obvious.
Right.
Yeah, there's so many like grand spiritual teachers, so many thought leaders, so many artists and entrepreneurs that have all used cannabis in a variety of ways. And I understand some of them don't talk about it openly. Some of it's like a secret, and some are very open about it. And it is this like, it reminds me of a gun, a weapon. Like, what's the difference between a weapon and a tool? I guess whoever's using it.
Right.
I mean, a saw can be used to create a house, and a saw can be used to really, I don't want to talk about it. There is other elements to it that get a little more concerning to me, like on a grand scale of humanity, specifically to do with the pharmaceutical industry and how cannabis could not only compete, but be a better ally than a vast majority of the most, like the pharmaceutical companies that have the most money invested in, whether it's sleeping pills, anti-anxiety, antidepressant. This is arguably some of the people that are controlling humanity and the most deep, interesting levels. Yeah, and those people, I mean, those companies probably have a lot invested in controlling those substances rather than allowing someone to grow a weed in their own yard that could be arguably better for a lot of people. So there's that side of the coin too. So I like, that's why this runs deep. People that, these huge companies know how to plant memetics. Like they know how to plant ideas and culture. That's why, I mean, this is what happens in huge corporations. They're really good at shifting the beliefs of large amounts of people. So where the demonization of cannabis actually came from is a great question, but I do see it as being extremely competitive for a lot of the drugs on the market, the most expensive, like the most valuable companies on earth run. So there's that element too. I'm not even sure if I want to put that part on camera. Like if Tyson edits this, I'm not sure if that's as important to me to state as the previous one, because that gets very political. And I'm more like, you can give me a gun, you can give me a bong, and you can give me a beer, and I'll be good. Yeah, but it's a good topic. I would, we're almost at 10.5 minutes, what I would suggest for you is if there's someone you're keeping it secret, your cannabis use a secret from, I would challenge you to be more open about it and not to show it off or to prove anyone wrong, but just like as you would drink a cup of tea, and then you might get to really see where you're at with it. If you use cannabis like you use chamomile tea, I bet you'll get to really you'll get to experience your feelings around it.
Run, guan, guan, guan. Run, guan, guan, guan. Run, guan, guan, guan. Run, guan, guan, guan.